Welcome to Dorks on Sports, a podcast about four dorks talking about sports. My name is Daniel. Joining me, as always, is the illustrious Curtis Eastwood. Curtis. So we got the season is ending.
It is.
The Seahawks are not going into the postseason.
They are not.
Where's your mental health at?
You know, it's I don't know which side is up anymore. Sometimes I'm like resigned to the fate of all. I don't know. I'm in this sort of whirling dervish whirlwind of I have no idea what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I know. That's where I am too.
Which will be fun for this prediction show.
I always get sad at the end of the football season. And this one feels a little more like relief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's like, all right, let's stumble out of this, make some changes and come back better and stronger. Alana, how are you doing over there?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
Good.
Family's good.
Family's good. Yeah, work's good. I've got a Space Needle ejaculate going on in my background. So, you know,
I like that.
We had New Year's.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Then we got Millie. And then and I don't think there's any more fantasy football to pipe in on. Is that right? No fantasy football's over.
Just the results of what happened.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I hype you up for a second, Millie?
Yeah.
Did you have a rookie wide receiver from the Bengals on your team?
I sure did.
What was that wide receiver's name?
He and I just want to be clear that I did in fact draft him. And oh boy, what a payoff that Jamar Chase is. Although now that he's becoming much more famous, I started hearing people say Jamar, and do we know? Is it Jamar? Is it Jamar?
I don't know. I think it's Jamar.
Jamar.
It might be Jamar because here, let me.
Could Jamar be a nickname?
Maybe. I don't know. It's that thing of, he's bigger and people start caring how they pronounce it. I don't know.
That's
certainly seen with other players. But anyway,
Jamar because of the apostrophe.
All right.
Jamar.
So it's J apostrophe MAR.
JA apostrophe.
Capital M or ARR.
Yes.
Jamar.
Which of course is funny because within our theater community there is
a Jamar
who has gone by Jamar the entire time I've known him, which is like 20 something years.
Yeah.
So that's who I think of now. But anyway, yes, thanks for asking. I did in fact have my personal definitely rookie MVP, and on my team is Jamar Chase. He, along with Josh Allen, Hunter Renfrow, Eckler, Cook, Kelsey, Singletary, and Williams from Kansas City did indeed take the Fluffernutters all the way to the championship.
Yes.
The trophy's coming
Needle
home.
Explosion.
My name will be on the trophy.
What's this number then?
This is my third time in this league.
All right, three-peat.
And for those of you following along with the Folger Shakespeare fantasy football group, I did in fact win the consolation bracket.
Nice.
So there is some victory in that, considering I went into it from 12th place. And I will get to choose my draft position, which I will decide at a later date.
Nice.
Oh, that's a strong. You had a good season.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of them was fantastic, and the other one was all right, weird. You try to figure out what happened, and I just had a very strange team with way too many Cowboys.
Oh, that's yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. So we got the Seahawks. The Lions came to town. Seahawks played their last home game of the season in front of the 12s and dropped 52. Was that the final score?
51.
51.
51 points. Easily their best offensive game of the season. They ended up breaking a franchise record with 9 consecutive drives that scored points. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, Russell Wilson looked like Russell Wilson. Now, he still missed some guys that he doesn't normally miss, but on the whole, he made really great decisions. They played a lot more Pete Carroll football. We didn't get much of this Russell Wilson chasing the deep stuff and then getting sacked 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It was complemented by another really strong run game by Penny, who won the NFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Huge.
I think it was like 175 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Really incredible stuff out of Penny. I know, the criticism has been like Penny has had an incredible run over the past 4 or 5 games, and the criticism is like, well, they haven't played, great run defenses. Okay. But even still, like 175 yards and a couple scores is pretty good. He's making great decisions out there. He's letting the plays develop. He's seeing the holes and he's hitting them. He's not doing that thing that kind of drives me crazy with Penny, which is like Russ can do, chasing the home runs. He's now, and he's slippery like Sean Alexander was, which is he's got this burst of speed that it seems like linebackers don't realize like just how fast his first gear is, and they miss him. And that was something Sean Alexander had. He was slippery. He could always kind of like slip between the linebacker and then kind of get into open space. I can see Penny do that a lot. So even these runs that'll get like maybe 4 yards, he ends up getting like 9.5 on because his first gear burst is really great. I'm excited for Penny. I hope the Hawks re-sign him for next year and bring back Adrian Peterson, who Penny credited him with his most recent, great play. Pete Carroll did. I like Adrian Peterson in that locker room. I think they do some good stuff. And there are even reports that the Seahawks offered him a coaching job, which he still wants to play, but I think that's very cool. So the Seahawks looked pretty good. I thought offensively it was almost flawless. Defensively, not so much. It was a kitchen sink game for the Lions. So they were kind of like doing weird stuff, kind of onside kicks, like the third quarter and stuff like that you normally don't see. Even so, the team looked good. But that was the Lions, and now we got the Arizona Cardinals, who are fighting to be, the NFC West champs and get a second seed into the playoffs. A much more difficult challenge. We will be facing the Cardinals this time with the Kyler Murray. Curtis, where are you landing on this game? What are the Seahawks' chances? Was that Lions game more fluky than not?
I don't think the Lions game was fluky necessarily. No, I think it was a good, it was, I think what might have been a little bit more fluky was the game they dropped to the Bears on a short week because they played on a Tuesday night. And, I'm not going to use that as an excuse to why they lost, but I think the Bears game was theirs to win and they just didn't make it happen. So I don't think it was a fluke what happened against the Lions, but I think it's going to be a really difficult match against Kyler Murray and an Arizona team that's lost 3 games in a row now, right? And
they beat the Cowboys this last
they
week.
beat the Cowboys. That's right.
They sneaked out that win,
but they've lost. I feel like they've lost a few.
I think 3 of 5.
And so, yeah, right. So the LA Rams are catching up on them a bit. And so it's a battle between the two of them. So I think that Yeah, I kind of feel like that Chandler Jones pass rush is pretty poised to go at Jake Kurhan, who I really like at the rookie right tackle, but I kind of feel like, if Russ has to throw on 3rd and long against Chandler Jones, rushing on the right side of that
It's
line,
gonna be a long day.
that's gonna be a tough one. But then when I expect Seattle to give it a fight. I think they're really gonna go for it and try and play this as their Super Bowl, their opportunity to spoil a division rival. But I feel like I would say the Cardinals are probably going to win this one. I would say, so say 27-23.
All right. Alana, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think the Cardinals are toast. I think that they unfortunately spent all their energy earlier in the year. I think the Cowboys game was a fluke for them, and I think that the Seahawks, for whatever reason, win the games down in Glendale. I know we had that
true.
like weird ass 6-6 tie or whatever, which was one of my favorite games ever. That game was amazing. It just like both teams just putting it all out there on defense and missing field goals and shit. I think what's interesting to me about this week is that, in the last week of the season, you do divisional games. And so we're matched up against the Cards, and the Rams are matched up against the 49ers. The 49ers have something to play for. The Cardinals have something to play for. The Rams have something to play for.
Mhm.
And the Seahawks are just sitting there like, hey, we're the spoilers. We could do this. So if the 49ers, what I want to happen is I want the Seahawks and the Rams to win. And then I want the Saints to beat the Falcons, because then only the Rams and the Cardinals would be in the playoffs. And
Right.
the 49ers would not be in the playoffs. And what a lovely gift, parting gift to have happen, to keep the Cardinals from winning the division and to keep the 49ers out of the playoffs. Just like, Jesus. Sorry. Svea. Don't sneak up on me like that.
Oh my goodness.
Child just appeared here and I was not expecting it.
She's
No,
like a
especially with your
specter.
filter, she just kind of appeared like the
I know.
girl in the ring.
Just start
I
creeping me
know.
out.
I'm ready. Go to bed. Go to bed. I don't
She's
think it's,
cute. But it's-
she is, but she scared the crap out of me. I think the Seahawks are going to win. I don't think it's going to be particularly close, because if we've learned one thing over this season, it's that Cliff Kingsbury cannot coach. That guy is bad. Not like Pete Carroll's having an off season, but like he's a bad coach. And I think it's going to be like 31-14. I think Seattle's going to roll in there. I think they're going to just be like, we got something to play for more than you do. And I think it's going to set us up for a good offseason.
I like it. Millie, what are your thoughts on this game?
I also think that the Seahawks are going to pull this one out, and here's why. I think that everyone knows that even though this may have just been a fluke season, the way things are shaping up, there's going to be a lot of change, is what it looks like. Regardless of what that change is, who stays, who goes, which may be totally none of the people you're even thinking about, but everybody feels it. And it's that let's play for each other one more time mentality. We're not playing for anything but each other and for our fans. And for some of us, this may be the last time we play as a Seahawk. And that kind of emotion against a team who we don't particularly care for, and who very well may not have their lead running backs playing on Sunday. Connors and Edmonds may not play.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of those factors put together, I think this is a team with a lot of pride, and a team that just isn't sure if they'll all be together again. I think they play for each other on Sunday, and I think it's going to bring a tear to my eye, and get a little choked up right now just thinking about it. I'm gonna give this 23-20 Hawks.
I am in agreement with you, Millie. If there's one thing I've learned about this season, it's that number one, even through losing adversity, Pete Carroll can keep a team together and keep them just playing to win. Even when they know that there's no point in a playoff or anything, that you're playing for pride and you're playing for each other. If there's another thing I learned about this team, it's like, I feel like even more than past Seahawks teams, like last year's team or something like that, this team feels like they really love each other. You hear that a lot in the pressers about how much they play for each other, how much they love each other. The guys who got injured, how much they hate that those guys are out, Jamal Adams and stuff like that. And so it really feels like this team is a band of brothers, right? And I think that they want nothing more than to end this season, because so many of them, this is their last contract. There's so many players in this team that are up for a new contract that they know that this is going to be
almost
the last
like
time
an
they're playing.
unprecedented amount.
Yeah, I mean, the front office has.
Everyone talks about how much salary space Seattle's going to have going into the offseason, but when you start to add up the amount of players that could be coming back, that salary space is going to shrink pretty rapidly.
And I
agree.
I also want to say, as much as band of brothers playing for each other, which is what I was saying, there is also the factor of there are a lot of contracts up. There are a lot of people who need to show what they can do and look good, so that if they are going somewhere else, they have more stats to bank on. I think Diggs is saying, you didn't offer me anything, and here we are, and I'm just going to get myself a few more stats so you can just drive that price way up. There's that kind of thing to pay for as well.
He's going to be really expensive.
He's going to be really
He's earned it.
He has 100%
I'm just afraid he's gonna.
And I think John Schneider in that front office are going, oh man, maybe we should have given him an extension.
Yeah.
Because now his price tag just went tripled.
He's the best player on the team, I think. I mean, if I were to
certainly on D and certainly the most consistent. I tend to think so. I was looking at the first game we had this season against the Cardinals, and I was surprised to learn that the Seahawks actually averaged 4.5 yards a carry when they ran the ball. They just didn't run the ball. They ended up running it only 19 times or something stupid like that. And 2 of those times were on Russell Wilson scrambles. If the Seahawks continue to run the ball, I think this game is going to get away from the Cardinals. I think if Shane Waldron gives a balanced performance and Russell Wilson does what he did in the Lions game, which is just take what the defense gives them. And, when it's 3rd and 6, just hit DK on that, weird tight end slant that Waldron is having him do now for 7 yards and pick up that first down. I think this could be a high scoring game for the Hawks. If that happens, I think it can be 28 Hawks, 17 Cardinals. I think we can really beat them up. That's if they stick to that plan. If Russell Wilson starts chasing some deep balls and throwing into double coverage on DK Metcalf, and it's going to be a long game. But that is my prediction.
Curtis, do you feel any better? Did we make you have hope, or you're still just no? We're gonna lose.
No, I feel like we're gonna lose. I want to see a good fight is what I'm looking for.
Me too. I want a great game, and it has to end on some weirdness. Yeah. I was actually shocked that there was no weirdness in this Lions game. I was like, what is this game? It's pretty clean. Like, we don't have any of this weird Seahawks stuff going on. And then like late in the game, there was like a turnover and then another turnover, like all in the same. I was like, oh, there it is.
There it is. Yep.
Yeah,
There's the weird.
And I was also reading that the Seahawks were very close to getting another scoregami.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was something at the end that like
it was.
or something. What was
But like if they would have scored a touchdown at the
Mhm.
end of the game, it would have been scoregami. And I
That's
think
what it
that's
was.
why. And I think that's why the fans were booing. And it's bullshit. Fuck you, fans in the stadium.
I
for
agree.
Booing. We had the game in hand. There's no reason to pour
Absolutely
on
no
in
reason.
that
Just end the
situation.
game. I
End the
agree.
game.
Just end it. I
Go
I
fuck yourself,
100%
and you're
agree
not
with
a real fan if you're
that.
doing
Agreed. Yes.
So.
Yeah. So get it together, 12s. You're better
Yeah.
than that.
that. You
Come
are.
on. That's embarrassing. So we're in the predictions here. We're predicting the next game, but I also this is a new year. The Seahawks season is ending. A Mariners season is about to begin in just a
Maybe.
few short months. Yeah, maybe. Right. I want to go into predicting what's going to happen in 2022. What's going to happen in Seattle sports 2022 or whatever you want. I have my prediction. I'm going to give a prediction for the Seahawks.
Mhm.
This is my prediction in 2022. And I know, they're having their first losing season in a long time. There's in the Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson era. And I know with that comes a lot of chatter about the big changes and coaches and front office guys getting fired. And I'm already bored of it, right? I don't think any of that is going to happen. In fact, if you look at the trajectory of this team since 2017, they have actually won more games every year. So since 2017, they got better and better and better and better until this year. Last year we won 12 games. I think this team is closer to that 12-win season than it is now. I think there's a lot of weird stuff that happened this season. Number one, our all-pro quarterback getting hurt, and he probably still is hurt. A weird COVID year. There's a lot of stuff that happened. So I'm giving this season a mulligan, and I think that Jody Allen and Vulcan is going to do the same thing. I think Pete Carroll and John Schneider and Russell Wilson are all coming back. I think that this season probably showed them some of the glaring holes that a quarterback like Russell Wilson was able to cover up for a lot of his career. And John Schneider is going to go to work. And I think they're going to go to work this offseason. I think they're going to reload, and I think they're going to come back stronger than ever. And they're going to have another 12-win season in 2022. That's my prediction. They're going to win the NFC West. Waldron is going to learn from his rookie mistakes, and they're going to go all the way. So that's my prediction for the Seahawks in 2022. Curtis, what are your predictions?
God, I love that prediction. I predict they're going to trade Russell Wilson. I think Pete and John stay on the island. I think they convince Jody Allen that they've got a clear path to building it back up quickly. I think I've been reading for months that, and this might turn out to just be a bunch of Y2K nonsense in the end, but I'm just gonna have
like
fun
it.
with
Yeah,
it in
yeah.
this
Give it
prediction
to me. Give me your Y2K nonsense.
But yeah, I've been reading on places like Pro Football Network and Pro Football Focus. This anticipation that the 2022 NFL offseason is going to see this crazy quarterback movement. Part of it is to do with the fact that the quarterback landscape of players coming out of college for the next couple seasons is looking
Slim pickings.
is looking bad. I mean,
Yeah.
it's looking as bad, maybe as bad as maybe like one of the, like this draft class could be like the worst quarterback draft class in like over 2 decades. I think the Tom Brady situation, the breakup there in New England, and seeing how New England ultimately within a year or so has benefited with a reset, and Brady has benefited, might give teams and quarterbacks a sense of, adventure and entitlement to explore alternative paths than staying together. I think the Matthew Stafford deal, the way that's worked out to Matthew Stafford, will make more unhappy quarterbacks kind of choose that path to see if they can work a clean breakup with their current team to get with another team.
I do want to, can I just say something about that real quick? Matthew Stafford, that wasn't a Matthew Stafford unhappy situation, though. That was a Sean, or the coach of LA Rams going and getting his guy. And Matthew Stafford,
no, that was everything that I've read about that. That was Stafford. Stafford wanted out of Detroit. He wanted the Detroit ownership to do him a solid after all of his years of service. And it was actually the Panthers were going heavy on him, and he told the Lions brass that he wanted to go to McVay. That he pretty much handpicked his destination, and McVay was like, sure, we'll give you Goff and 2 first-round picks. So
sorry for interrupting.
That's fine. That's fine. So I've just got this really, I said it after the Seahawks lost in that disappointing way against the Rams, and their season was officially shot a couple weeks back. For now on, I'm just sort of rooting for chaos. So I'm going with my chaos trend. I'm predicting that I'm going to just stay with the Super Bowl. I'm going to predict that the Packers beat the Titans in the Super Bowl, and they tear up Aaron Rodgers' deal and sign him to a new contract, and he's there until he retires. But they trade Jordan Love.
I actually agree with that. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere.
I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I think he's going to stay. Jordan Love, the guy that they drafted in the first round pick a couple years back, I think goes to the Saints and plays there, and they match him up with Taysom Hill, and may the best quarterback win that situation. I think there's going to be a big bidding war for Russell between the New York Giants, the Denver Broncos, and I project the Philadelphia Eagles to get involved. The interesting thing with all 3 teams is conceivably they all have a lot of young, talented players that they could throw at Seattle on cheap contracts, and they each have a quarterback that Seattle could kind of roll with. So I think there would be sort of a bidding war there, but I'm going to say that Russell is going to be destined to be a New York Giant. He'll be Broadway Russ. It's going to make Sierra happy. His whole legacy goals of one day becoming an NFL owner is going to be able to, kind of push forward with all the hobnobbing he's going to do in the Big Apple. I think that there's a lot of pressure from the Mara family to bring in a marquee quarterback from the fans and the media. There's actually a media campaign to go after Russell Wilson. I'm going to project this crazy ass freaking deal that's going to end up between the Seattle Seahawks, the Giants, and the Cleveland Browns. So get ready for this.
Oh,
the Giants
a 3-team deal.
A 3-team deal, and this is how it's going to go down. Actually, it's going to end up being a 4-team deal, if you can believe this. The Giants send Daniel Jones and their high 2nd-round pick to the Cleveland Browns for Baker Mayfield. The Seahawks trade Russell Wilson to the Giants for their 2 top 10 first-round picks that look like they're going to be pick number 5 and pick number 8. They're going to get, in return, they're going to get Mayfield. They're going to get Saquon Barkley. They're going to get an expensive corner by the name of James Bradbury that's going to help New York fit, Russ under their salary cap. they'll get a reserve left tackle, and they'll probably get like a 3rd round pick in this year's draft and a 2nd round pick in next year's draft. So that's going to be the haul Seattle's going to get. They're going to get Barkley up here. They're going to get Barkley, and they're going to get Mayfield. And Mayfield's having, interestingly, his own issues in Cleveland right now, kind of like Russ. He's had a down year. He's been playing on a torn labrum in his left shoulder, so his mechanics are all off. The fans,
unlike Russ, it sounds like Cleveland wants to unload him too.
What's that?
I said, unlike Russ, it sounds like Cleveland wants to unload Mayfield.
Yeah.
That divorce is
the thing is I think that Cleveland doesn't feel like they don't want to pay Mayfield upper echelon starting quarterback money. But I think Seattle, I think Mayfield is a quarterback, given the type of quarterbacks that John Snyder has sort of liked. He likes the athletic, big arm, play action quarterbacks. And even though Mayfield's not the tallest guy on the planet, he actually does have a pretty strong arm, and he is pretty athletic. And in 2022, when they went to the playoffs, he was super efficient that year.
You mean 2020?
And 2020, and 2020. So I kind of feel like Mayfield in Seattle under Pete, that might be a situation where, Pete's a good father figure for him. I think that Mayfield has an interesting sort of fiery demeanor that Pete actually might kind of appreciate a little bit, given like the players that he's had in the past on the defensive side. So I kind of feel like that's sort of the deal that's going to happen. And I can actually see, the Browns flipping Jones to Minnesota for Kirk Cousins, because Minnesota is in a ton of salary cap hell right now, and they're going to have to cut a bunch of players to get under the cap. Cousins is getting older. If they traded him, that would free up $35 million, and then they get Jones for cheap, and then Cousins can reunite with Kevin Stefanski, who was the old offensive coordinator for the Vikings before he became the Cleveland coach. So this is the crazy ass, wild ass prediction thing that I think is going to happen, and I'm happy if I'm wrong.
My only question about that is, is Russell going to play for the Giants if Joe Judge is still the coach?
No, I don't think it is. That's it. I think they will fire. Here's what I think is going to happen there. I think they're going to go after Doug Peterson. I think Doug Peterson's going to end up the Giants coach, and he's going to, have Russ, who, Peterson coached Michael Vick when he was the OC.
Right.
For Andy Reid in the last few years. They were together in Philadelphia. So he has a background coaching an athletic, scrambling, play action quarterback.
So if that's what ends up happening, I don't hate the haul for the Seahawks. I like Mayfield.
No, I don't.
Like
this is what makes sense to me.
Right. I like all the picks there. So I don't hate that. But I still like Russell better, and I think he's staying.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope it works out. I'm just going to quickly rattle off the free agents situation that I think are probably likely to return. I actually think they're going to restructure Bobby Wagner's deal so they can clear up some cap space. I think they'll add a couple more years to it. It'll come into a much more reasonable number. I think they're going to make a strong push to go after Diggs, because I think Carroll just at the end of the day values that secondary too much. And I think he will. Well,
especially if they want to get more back into a Carroll defense, Diggs,
I think so.
Will be a cornerstone of that.
I can see them bringing DJ Reed back. I think Penny comes back for sure. And
DJ Reed, who had his first interception against the Lions, and it was like he ended up getting 2 of them.
Yeah, I got 2 picks in that game, right?
Yeah,
but he's been solid all year long.
He's been great. I really like him.
Yeah, and I think they bring Everett and Will Dissly back. I think they keep those 2 tight ends, and so I think that's what's likely to happen. And then free agency. I think they go and find some meat on the offensive and defensive lines. I think they use those top, high first round picks on the offensive and defensive line, and that's the way they just sort of beef everything up. That's
I like it.
That's
so where do you see Tua Tagovailoa moving on?
Oh, I think he's going to stay there. I've got a list of other quarterback movements if you're interested. I think Deshaun Watson ends up with the Broncos because they lose out on the Russell Wilson deal.
Gross. I wish he would just go off into the ether.
Yeah, but I think he's
no, I know.
NFL, we know how it all works, right? Antonio Brown still got a gig. Yeah, I don't want to go.
Derek Carr, is he staying in Las Vegas?
Derek Carr, I think, is going to sign a new deal with the Raiders, and I think he's going to retire a Raider. I don't think he wants to go anywhere. I think they want to keep him. That would be a smart move for them. I think he's a really good quarterback. I see Jimmy Garoppolo probably going to Carolina. I think Teddy Bridgewater might end up in Washington. I think
Is Cam Newton getting signed anywhere?
Huh?
Is Cam Newton working anywhere?
God, I don't know. I didn't think of him, but I think Jameis might end up with the Steelers.
I could dig that.
Replacing Big Ben, which would be kind of a weird sort of, replace one vile human being with somebody with his own checkered past at quarterback. Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of how I see it. That's what I think. I'm probably wrong on all of this, but yeah, there it is. There's my crazy ass chaotic.
We'll see. We'll see.
Quarterback.
We haven't had like a huge blockbuster trade in the NFL in a long time. So if that happens, it'll be historic. Millie, what are your predictions?
Well, my predictions were that the Giants trade Dan Jones, the second round pick, to Cleveland for Baker Mayfield, and then we get Mayfield.
Nice.
I'm kidding. But I did say to the Hubs this week, what about Baker? I could see that. But I actually feel like there's a little more, I don't know, my spidey sense tingles a little bit when I hear stories about the Giants and actually about Tua. I think Tua is somebody that the Seahawks might be very interested in. As well.
I think about Jalen Hurts as a candidate as well, if they wanted to move on from Russell Wilson going after.
So my prediction is that I, as far as the Seahawks go, I do believe that we're going to lose Russell Wilson. I don't think we're going to keep the band together, Dan. So I'm definitely with Curtis on that as far as the Seahawks go. I was trying to think of other predictions, not Seahawks predictions that I could make for 2022, and was really at a loss. So I just picked some random things that I have absolutely no informed opinion about, which is that let's see, I think that the Kraken are going to keep their coach. I think that the Academy Awards, the Oscars, will be virtual. I think that you all are great, and I don't have a lot of thoughts about where things are going. I am so hopeful that baseball is not postponed that I don't want to make a prediction on it.
I know. I wish baseball wasn't heading this way. If I was going to make my predictions, I would say that baseball isn't going to be locked out. I think that the lockout is going to end well before pitchers and catchers. But man, I don't know. If the baseball lockout ends soon and we get, like a normal season, I actually think the Mariners are going to win like 110 games.
110?
Yeah.
They're going to win more than, because isn't the record 108?
No,
Didn't they win 116?
116.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I need Alana's predictions. Do you have any you want to share?
I think the lockout shortens the season, but doesn't eliminate it. I think the Mariners make the playoffs in the wild card position and win the wild card game. So go into the ALDS where they don't advance past it, but it's a good learning experience for everyone involved. And it's a unmitigated success and shines a light into the next season. I think the Storm re-signed Sue Bird. I think she plays another season. And I think if that hasn't already happened, but I don't think it has.
it hasn't happened
It
yet.
hasn't,
Got
but
some
I
key
agree.
free agents, yeah.
Sue's coming back for at least one more
She's got to
season.
come back. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that they do well. I don't know what happens there. I think that most of the Marvel series in this second batch of TV shows are kind of suck. Just because I don't trust that they've found showrunners who can do what they did in the first round. But I do think that Ms. Marvel and Echo and the second season of Loki are going to be bangers. And I think it's because they know, like, those stories are very clear, and who they need to run those shows is very clear. But like Moon Knight, like, great, you have Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke, like, intriguing, but what are you doing with it? I could be wrong. And then She-Hulk, like, it's great that you have Tatiana Maslany, and I love Tatiana Maslany, but what has she done aside from like cameo in some shows and been in that Orphan Black? Like, she isn't like, do we know that she can do comedy? I don't know that we know that she can do comedy. So I've got some questions about She-Hulk. Beyond that, I think that Bruce Harrell's first term in office in Seattle starts off ignominiously, and he starts trying to bust up homeless encampments, and is just a real, Jenny Durkin in blackmail Jenny Durkin. That's
I 100% agree with that prediction. Everything is the same as it was.
Yeah.
Seattle doesn't change.
Yeah. And the Ann Davison is gonna wreck things, like actually legitimately wreck things. But that's all I have. So
yeah, I agree with you. I that was one of my predictions that I wanted to make, which is Sue Bird is coming back. I was
good to get that in there. I think they're going to win the title with Sue Bird. I think they're going to get their 5th title.
She's going to ride off in the sunset.
And I think they if they do not build a statue for in front of that arena, I am going to email the ownership of that team daily, and I'm going to email Mayor Harrell daily until it happens, because she's the greatest athlete that I've ever seen play at that arena, and I am a huge Seattle Supersonic fan. Anybody go back and watch the 2018 WNBA playoff series between her and Taurasi down in Phoenix in that final game, I think, that they played up here, and she was a fucking monster in that game, nailing threes in the last 11 minutes of that game. And she was like as cold-blooded of a basketball player as I've ever seen. And she had a fucking mask on her face because it was broken. I mean, she is just an effing beast. She is like the Tom Brady of women's basketball. She is a bona fide superstar athlete, and she deserves to have a statue put right in front of that Climate Pledge arena, hands down, no question. Shouldn't even be a debate about it.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's all I'm
Yeah.
going to say about my girl, Sue Bird.
I love it. I love it. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming in Seattle. One last prediction. I think the Kraken are going to end sub, 500 season. But I think that's okay because I think that's all they're really going for in this season. I think they have a strong core around them. I think all they're missing is one playmaker that can take over the game. And if that happens, they can become a really great team. Will they find it? I don't know. I think they might go looking for it. I know they've got some cats in the development system that they're excited about. But yeah. Just moving quickly into dorking. I'll start. So I watched the Sopranos prequel, the movie that David Chase made, The Many Saints of Newark, which was billed as Tony Soprano's origin story. It's not really Tony Soprano's origin story. It really kind of like focuses on other characters. I rewatched The Sopranos to go into The Many Saints of Newark. My takeaway on The Sopranos is, 15 years after its final episode, it absolutely holds up. It is absolutely one of the best TV shows of all time. And it is absolutely kind of the standard bearer and the thing that ushered in this, golden age era of premiere TV. So I watched the Many Saints of Newark and I was completely underwhelmed. Everything that made Sopranos brilliant was missing in this movie. Everything that made Sopranos brilliant was this idea of the lives around these mobsters, right? Like they're just kind of like mundane domestic stuff, their family quarrels and all of this kind of thing. All of that was, and just like the layers of psychology that was going on in these characters, all of that was missing in The Many Saints of Newark. The Many Saints of Newark felt like it was just trying to ape a Martin Scorsese movie, and with actors doing like Halloween costume impressions of characters that were in The Sopranos. I was completely underwhelmed by it, and I don't recommend it. I thought it was dumb. Just rewatch The Sopranos instead. Alana, anything you're darking out on?
There's a new show on ABC called Abbott Elementary, and it's fantastic. It came out as a pilot, fully formed, totally understanding the story it was trying to tell and just telling it. And it's really economical writing. Anytime you have a sitcom on network TV, you got to tell a story in 22 minutes and get in, get out, tell the jokes, and be something special. And it's something special. So highly recommend that. And I'm looking forward this weekend to the return of two of my favorite HBO shows from the past couple of years. In Euphoria, the Zendaya headed piece about high school, but it's a different kind of high school than I think any of us went to. It's very, very, very drug and sex, and like it's that world, and it's
Oh, that's my high school.
sure.
That was Ferndale High back in the 1980s.
Sure. And then Righteous Gemstones.
I love the Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah.
It's fantastic satire. Every actor in that is brilliant. The characters are so well defined. I 100% recommend that TV show. Brilliant satire.
And also it has a level of vulnerability with the characters that is really awesome to watch and like
refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah. Judy is probably my favorite character on the show.
Same. Yeah. So. And Baby Billy.
And Baby Billy.
Yeah.
And they're bringing in Jason Schwartzman as a reporter named Thaniel, not short for Nathaniel, just Thaniel. And I read the logic behind that, which is that Danny McBride wants to have names that are really frustrating to yell when you're angry. So it's like, I can't do it, Thaniel. So that was the idea behind that. And Eric Andre and Eric Roberts are also joining for season 2.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, great show. Millie, what are you dorking out on?
I was just trying to think about that. I did start the Book of Boba Fett. I've only seen the first episode, but definitely intrigued. Always appreciate the sort of throwbacks in my head to the older trilogy of Star Wars films. So I'm digging that, and not really dorking out over a lot else. It's just been kind of a busy week.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep it short and yield my time.
All right, Curtis, what are you dorking out on?
Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett. That's all I've got. That's all I got. And I'm writing on my blog a lot these days about.
That's right. You should check out 12thlife.com. Some good stuff. Curtis has done a series this week, kind of given the case of, the triumvirate of power with the Seattle Seahawks, the case of Russell Wilson, the case of Pete Carroll, and the case of John Schneider. And it's really great, really insightful stuff that I recommend everybody check out. Great. I've enjoyed chatting with y'all. Everybody listening, subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. We've also got the YouTube channel, so you can see Svea, Alana's creepy daughter coming into frame like she's the little girl in the Ring movies.
That's what I thought of too.
Yeah.
But as always, we really appreciate your support. We appreciate you listening to us. My name is Daniel. For Alana, Millie, Curtis, the rest of 12 saying goodbye, and go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.